Clark steps in for a three. Back out top. Martin buries a three. Straight line. Pull up just inside the logo. Logan Cook on for Iowa. She gets the rebound, and here is Clark. Defended by Martinez. Off the window, two more for Caitlin Clark. Clark steps in for a three. Back out top. Martin buries a three.
Clark for a three. Clark breaks it.
She took the bump right there defensively. Got McKenna Warnock in the air.
Clark at the logo. Book it! Another logo shot for number 22. Clark. Step back three. Got it! Terry holds the follow through, but it won't drop in. Clark. Got it! She's a beast. Clark, one of those distance attacks, strings it up. Look out.
She thought she had just as good an angle as the officials did.
Well, if anybody did, she did. She was right there.
Clark for three.
Faulted for their efforts. Clark again. This needs maybe a foot.
You cannot go under. It's coming up big. Like Sellers couldn't quite get the spin. Caitlin Clark. That's what she does, just right up the floor.
But they can't stop Johnson on the other end.
Well, you better be careful. There might be another one coming right here.
Here she goes. Can they sustain it as this first quarter continues to go on?
Clark, there she goes again. Yes!
You can support as well by visiting v.org/Stewart. 100% of those donations goes to research, and there's Caitlin Clark out of the timeout for
Iowa with numbers. Here's Clark. Catch, fire, and hit. In the corner, wide open, Williams. No, and O'Grady the rebound. Clark running. Clark eyes up behind the back, through the lane, lays it in. A trip to the Final Four at stake. Clark was trying to redirect a pass. Clark, oh my, from Schenectady.
Caitlin Clark here, Haley Van Lith right there, but you're never right there when it's Caitlin Clark. The bench is
Up from Johnson and fine for Reese.
defense for them in the first half.
Here's Martin running the floor and lays it in on the dime from Clark. How about the pace of this game? Clark wheels around, evades Van Lith, and drains it. My goodness.
No other player has done before. Logo, left, three, like Noah.
She got an IV because she's been so sick before that UCLA game. That's how sick she was. Clark! She's possessed.
The distance on these Caitlin Clark threes, it's just ridiculous.
Here's Martin. Clark, again coming off the screens. Clark steps back, fires, you bet! While restarted 6 of 8, is 0 of 7 since. Remember, she also injured her ankle. Here's Clark. Will she pull up? Finding a Folter.
Surprised you because she's been doing it all season.
Oh, what a pass! Clark to O'Grady for the finish. Morrow with 12 points, 12 rebounds, playing in her first Elite Eight game. Clark again!
What is Haley Van Lith supposed to do? She goes over the screen.
Here's Clark. Clark pulls up, another deep one. It is good! The 40-point game for the all-time leading scorer in Division I history. Johnson launches, can't hit. Rebound, Morrow gets blocked. Underneath, that will do it. This time, it's Iowa. They're the highest scoring offense since 2014. Clark drives this one and lays it in. Smart. Being watched the whole way by Mule, who has 2 fouls. Clark on the drive, banks it in. Mule had to be careful there. Little momentum for Iowa. Clark to a falter. A falter lays it in. Now Clark comes back to the basketball. Clark looking to spin away from traffic. Double screen. Gets open. And hits. First 3 of the night for Caitlin Clark. Stolke trying to get it to Clark. Does. Her 3 is good. Plus the foul.
Basketball. Nika Mule denying all over the court. This is good defense, and Caitlin Clark doesn't get much space. And then lands.
Here's Clark driving, finding. Stolke gets whacked, able to finish. No whistle. Iowa bench apoplectic that there wasn't a foul. Iowa has not had a 2-possession lead yet tonight. Clark, step back 3. You bet.
She's coming to check in now, but here the step back to the left. That's really good defense for Nika Mule and Papa Clark. Sweet spots.
Clark trying to work Arnold, separates and finishes. Brady and Arnold both playing with 4 fouls. And a knock away from Clark. Here comes Clark in transition, bounces, Stolke able to finish. What a dish from Caitlin Clark. Clark to inbound, Iowa by 2, .8 to go, and that will do it. Iowa survives Connecticut and heads back to the national championship game. Here's a falter, looking to drive it again. Needs help this time. Flings it out, Clark open 3, is good. Tahina Pow, top 3 in the nation in 3-point shooting percentage. Here's Clark, wheeling, taking, and banking it home. She was an unstoppable force last season against Iowa, but was coming off the bench. Clark, oh my, from the future. Firing away from deep. Yes, you have to guard her even.
Hall now with the defensive assignment again on Clark. Look at her hand right in Clark's face.
Clark looking to separate from Hall. Clark, the drive, able to bank it in. You have about a 6-second difference game in shot clock. Here's Clark. Will Iowa wind it down? No, that's why. 1-point Iowa lead. Clark yet to score in the second. Will put up a 3 here. And hit. Championship game.
The space she creates.
Clark pops in, bodies inside and finishes. Tough finish for Clark, who is looking for an and one. She has 23 points. Here comes Clark. Clark finds the cutter. What a look. The video game vision of Caitlin Clark.
And then here's that video game vision for you, Ryan Rucco. Stolke with the 2. You would expect her to have good legs and bounce and determination here.
Tessa Johnson in as well. Here is Clark. Clark into the paint, spinning and finishing. Depth of production from her throughout the tournament, but she's had key, timely baskets throughout. Clark wanted a whistle, did not get it, does get the roll.
Ability that this South Carolina team has.
Clark didn't get much space there with Hall on her. Clark, the crossover, and the hit from 3. And Caitlin Clark says goodbye to college basketball.
With the first pick in the 2024 WNBA draft, the Indiana Fever select Caitlin Clark, University of Iowa.
Well, Caitlin Clark hugging her family, her brothers, Blake and Colin, her father, Brent, her mother, Ann, and heading to the podium. She is officially a member of the Indiana Fever after as decorated a collegiate career as we have ever seen.
Reality is coming.
Okay.
You know, there's levels to this thing, and that's just life. We all went through it.
Of course.
And you see it on the NBA side, and you're going to see it on this side, where, you know, you look superhuman playing against 18-year-olds, but you're going to come with some grown women that have been playing professional basketball for a long time.
Take it at the rim. Here, hesitation. You have to come on her. It goes by her first two.
Back Benley. Here's Clark, a good look from three. She got it! The first three in the career of Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark does not need much space here.
With 16 points, she's played terrific defense as well. Here's Clark off a screen, gets a look, and hits.
But then on the offensive end, I mean, that's a great contest by Carrington. She goes over the screen.
Probing, drags out Nelson Adota. Clark will fire and hit the three. Caitlin Clark with her third three of the night as her parents celebrate. Just no space. Connecticut everywhere. Here's Clark with Banham guarding her. Clark gets bumped, will take, and hit from three. Clark up to 18 points.
It is Caitlin Clark able to clear for Indiana.
Caitlin coming off that 20-point performance right here, handling the physicality of Benijah Laney, with which Caitlin Clark handles right here. She crosses sides of the floor, she gets her hips and shoulders past Laney, and she leans. 2 for 1.
Clark, bounce pass. There's Boston. Abish hounding Clark. Clark, step back three, knocks it down.
So when Caitlin goes off the ball, typically she comes off a stagger on the weak side, but she comes off a pin down here, wide open. Bang!
We might need to update the graphic now. And some extracurricular as Clark's knocked down a couple of deep triples here in the second quarter.
Victoria Vivian's an old Indiana Fever player.
Caitlin gets snubbed.
Okay, I implore once again all of my colleagues to please take a breath before these conversations, because the Caitlin Clark conversation is in the process of jumping over into the political realm, and it's going to get even grosser. I'm just letting you know, there have been someone who might end up being a vice presidential nominee, not Aaron Rodgers, was out here tweeting today, damn near demanding an investigation about why she wasn't on there.
What?
I bet Wilds, we'll see if I'm right, that there will be a Caitlin Clark-related question at a White House press conference this week, because this has become a culture war, because everything God knows must be culture war. When in reality, I think there is totally legitimate arguments, and I rarely feel this way, on both sides of this. I think if you want to say she is not good enough yet, that's fair. Mm-hmm. The numbers would say she's probably not. She's not good enough yet, and it's the Olympic team, and giving her a spot takes one away from someone else. It is also totally legitimate to say We roll in the Olympics every year. We can afford having, someone who's the 20th best or 24th best instead of the 12th best because of what it would potentially do to grow the game. That's legitimate. And I also think that door somewhat got open, Brew, by Diana Taurasi's inclusion. So Diana, and we can show you their numbers. They're having a shockingly similar season. So points and rebounds basically identical. Field goal percentage is identical. Caitlin has way more assists and way more turnovers to go along with it. Diana has very few assists, very few turnovers. So they're Caitlin's not yet in her prime. Diana's past her prime. Diana, I think, got in because she's Diana freaking Taurasi, and she's earned. She deserves it. But you then can't say we're just doing our 12 best. Right. So I think there's fair arguments on both sides. I just wish everyone didn't get so angry about it at all times when it relates to this young lady.
Something to work for. That's a dream. Hopefully one day I can be there, and I think it's just a little more motivation. You remember that, and hopefully in 4 years, when 4 years comes back around, I can be there.
We talked actually on the bus. She got the call on the bus, and she texted me to let me know, and I just tried to keep her spirits. The thing she said was, "Hey, Coach, they woke a monster," which I thought was awesome.
All right. My girls joining us, Chiney Ogwumike, Andrea Carter. Ladies, good morning. I want to dive right into this one. Chiney, was it a mistake to leave Clark off the Olympic roster?
Hey guys, nice to see you all on this beautiful morning. I'll start with this, Molly. I grew up in the pipeline of USA basketball, competing at the U16s, U18s, World University Games, and I also brought back the first ever 3-on-3 gold World Championship medal. And what I have learned in my time with USAB is that Team USA's mission is to construct the best basketball team in the world. Now, as a fan of Caitlin Clark, I would have loved to see her on that stage, doing what she has always done, making moments that grow the game. But Team USA doesn't select simply based off of fandom, especially when the world is catching up.
USA basketball may have been taking into account would be the blowback they would have received if she wasn't playing much. If she's on this team and she's barely playing, on some level, while these games are going on, that might be worse than her not being on the team at all, which is to say, in the game in which she played last night, her team was getting blown out. She didn't play the entire fourth quarter, and the arena was chanting, "We want Caitlin." That's probably not a great scenario. But now spin it to the other side. Spin it to where they are playing her ahead of other definitively better, more qualified in this moment players. Is that really best? Is it better for her if she's on this team for no reason other than the marketing? Is that really the best thing for her? Because if you think if there are people out there who have it in for her right now, and I think it's obvious there are some who do, I don't know. I cannot begin to calculate the percentage. How many? How bad is it? I don't know. I don't know any of that.
First in the league in fast break points.
Clark connects on a deep three. Here's Elizabeth Williams, the veteran, squeezes it to the corner. Onyenwere can't hit. Reese on the offensive glass, able to outwork Smith to the Commissioner's Cup final. What a dish. Down the floor. Wallace, the finish plus the foul on a beautiful delivery from Clark.
For Caitlin Clark's game, the deep three is one, and the get-ahead pass is another. Oftentimes,
around women's basketball, they understand their impact and what it has done and how they are living out their dreams today.
And right on cue, Clark connects on another bomb. Off to Carter, her jumper is good. Kennedy Carter now with 12 points off the bench. And big-time contact afterwards. Saw the knockaway there from Clark, and then the lay from Boston as the officials are going to take a look at what just transpired between Carter and Clark. I mean, that's clearly a foul, which was called. The question is, will they call it unnecessary? Kennedy Carter, I think that's going to be a flagrant one, and Clark goes to the line and hits the first. They called it away from the ball foul because it happened prior to the inbound. So then anybody can shoot the free throw. Of course, Indiana would have Clark as a great free throw shooter shoot it.